Oh, we're live. Good evening, everyone. This is Malcolm Peters calling in from Jordan today, from Amman. What a day I've had. I've been in the mountains in a place called Ajlan, been near an old castle that is 1,000, built in 1,100, I believe. So as you come online, I'd like you to introduce yourselves, your first names and where you're calling from. If I look like I'm looking into outer space and everywhere, as we get the call started, I've had an interesting week. My laptop froze, so there's no screen on my laptop. And what I've done is I've hooked up my keyboard of the laptop to this giant screen. So I'm looking around and it looks really bizarre because cameras here, I'm looking at my teams over here, and I'm looking at what you're saying on that side as well. So it's going to be very interesting. It's like me being in the circus and being actually the person that looks after the circus. I forgot what you call them right now. So just come online, please introduce yourselves. The first names where you're calling on. You can actually write on the chat link if you want, say hi, so I can see you. I'll try and make sure I can see you because at the moment I can't. So bear with me while I get myself organized here. Come online, say hello, how are you? Welcome to our call. And at the moment, by the look of it, it doesn't look like we can get the chat working. So anyway, like I said, this is one of those days I was expecting us to have a few challenges. As you come online, please introduce yourselves, your first names, where you're calling from. If I can see you, I will introduce you. And if I can't see you, we've got lots and lots of people joining us right now. I can see, but I can't see what you're saying. So my name is Malcolm Peters. For those of you who are watching this for the first time, not going to be stressed today. I tend to be very calm at times when things are going wrong, which happen on these live calls. And let me just share with some of you as you start joining us from around the world what this call is designed to do and what I'm doing and what my guests are going to be doing today. We're an organization called GPG, Global Partners Group. We are independent distributors for the world's fastest growing company, a company called Jeunesse Global. I've been running these calls now for many, many years with different companies, and I love modern technology. Isn't it amazing? We can reach out with YouTube to hundreds of thousands of people worldwide at any time, and the recording stays online so we can pass that on to people that we want to share the story with. The call is designed to do three things. First, to introduce you to some of the leadership of GPG, individuals who have got high desire levels, people who have achieved great success or on the path to achieving extraordinary success in what we call the stairway plan that we have here. Everybody who's going to be talking to you is either a sapphire or above. And really what I say is they know the way, they go the way, and they're showing you the way today. I've got speakers from around the world. I'm calling today from a place called Amman. And before I get my speakers organized and ready, because we're having challenges with lots of different stuff today, and I can't unfortunately today see, as I normally do every day, every Sunday, the people joining us. I know people join us from around the world. Most Sundays, we have a large group of people joining us from South Africa, from Zambia, from Greece, from France, all over the world as well. I'm calling from Amman. So I want to start my story up before I introduce my guests with this. It's amazing what this business does for different people. I actually found a person very deep down in my organization, which I'm going to share with you about later on. And I find myself in a country called Jordan. Didn't even know that it exists. You know, that's how naive I am about geography. And when I first arrived, some of my friends in England said to me, "You're going to Jordan?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Are you crazy?" I said, "Well, why?" She said, "Well, it's a Syrian border where Daesh and ISIS are. It's Iran at war at any time, Iraq and Palestine and Israel. You're going to a place that's surrounded by war and strife." And I arrived here not knowing anybody at all in November last year. And from that chance meeting, I met someone who I consider to be a brother, and I'm living with his family. Fantastic people. I've now spent a total in the last 3 months of about 7.5 weeks here. And what a country. And going out there, sharing the message of what we've got as far as the product's concerned and the opportunity is concerned. Tonight, it's my pleasure and my privilege to introduce you all to some extraordinary and fantastic guests, many of them who I've known for quite a while, who work with me on these calls at the weekends. Let me get myself organized because it's awkward trying to see where you all are. Calling in today from different parts of the world. So let me just get organized a little bit. Bear with me while I just got my screen sorted out. From around the world. And my first guest tonight is an individual that I met 3 years ago. And at the time, I didn't know who he was. He had a little hat on, I still remember it, a scarf on, very sharply dressed, and walking around looking very businesslike. And I said to Paula at that time, "Who's that chap over there?" She said, "That's Dino, very good networker, etc., etc." I didn't know who he was. And we exchanged a few words. And over the last 2 or 3 years, I've got to know him extremely well. a dynamic individual who has been instrumental in getting together two of the largest teams that we've got in GPG and Global Partners Group. One of the teams is a Greek team from which we've got a spin-off of the Cyprus team. And right now, calling in from Cyprus, I'd like to introduce you all to Dino Alvarez, Ruby Director, calling in from Nicosia in Cyprus. And he's going to share with you one of the most important ingredients of success in this business. What is your why? Over to Dino. Dino.
Hi, can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Fantastic. I mean, that's what I love the most, Malcolm. Look at you. Normally from the UK, you're in Jordan. I'm a Greek, growing up in Germany, living in the US, now in Cyprus. Isn't that amazing? That's what I love most about this business is that you really, the personal development, A, and B, you really travel. Isn't that great? That's what I just really love. And the other thing is, normally I see this background with this gorgeous, gorgeous Andreani, you know, and normally there's another man next to her. So I said actually to her first, stay here. So then they see that me instead of Rolando's. So it's so wonderful to be here. And Malcolm, thank you for having us on the call with Andre. We just came back also from an event that we had here in Cyprus. Actually, yesterday we had a training workshop, and today we had a business opportunity and a workshop right afterwards. And we just came in, and we're actually between meetings now. Right after this call, we're going to be on the next meeting. And the topic, why, Malcolm, we just also trained that with our new distributors that just joined here in Cyprus after the business opportunity. So it's a topic that I think is so important that maybe even it's the most important factor that will carry us through our whole journey with our business. That's how I see it. When you have this question, why, and you answer this why correctly. I want to mention Paula and Kathy. Paula always says, you know, when she's been asked, what are you telling people? What is your presentation? What is the content of, you know, when you present to someone? And Paula says always, tell your story. Tell your story. And that's exactly it. So I talked about it today, and I said, if you don't know how to tell your story, when you start your business, just ask yourself this question: why did you decide to join this? Most of times, of course, people will say, well, it's the income. I want an additional income, whatever it is. It could be a small income, a medium, or a career change, a life-changing income. However, as different as this why is, very often, if you're just saying it's the money, certainly it is, but most of the times it's caused by something. So what I mean by that is a question that can help you with finding your why is very often, how does it feel? How does it feel? So the situation is the following. Sometimes we get to the point, and excuse my French now, but when I say I'm fed up with something, this is then where I'm actually so hungry to change the situation so bad that, you know what, that's exactly my why. I want to change something so urgently right now that I can't stand this feeling anymore. It could be, yes, money could be the solution. Money is most times the solution. But it's not the money as the motivator. It's the way that my situation that I'm about to change is making me feel. And I think our suggestion is, as a team, when we have a new distributor, that we say, please take this question very, very serious and answer this question for yourself. Go home after your enrollment happened and sit down for whatever it takes you. just by yourself and go a little bit deep and think about what is it that makes it so unbearable for you that you said, that's it, I'm changing it. Because then you get the answer for the starving hunger to succeed. And you, by us knowing our why, is basically the answer and the motivator that whenever I have a situation where someone says, this product is not for me, this business opportunity is not for me, all of a sudden this nose will be neutralized because it doesn't hurt you because you know why you're doing what you're doing. It strengthens you so much in your core belief and in your belief to do this business about to change that it doesn't matter. You just say, hey, it's something that I need to get over, but my core belief and my why is so strong because I do not like this feeling anymore. Okay, so it could be something like, you know, when you say, I just can't stand anymore a situation where I know it's the 25th of the month and I have 5 more days to go and I don't know how to make it. Yes, it is money that can solve the situation, right? But it is the feeling that I want to get rid of. By having this additional income that will fill this gap, it will make me relax. It will make me calm down. And that's what I mean. This is just an example. It can be thousands of different examples, but that is something that we really pay attention to because we strongly believe that when you know your why, bless you, when you really know your why, it is really your motivator. It will carry you through your business constantly. It will be your inner strength. And the inner strength will mirror in many ways. The inner strength will mirror in the moment when you sit in front of someone or stand in front of someone or standing in front of a group when you present. You know what? Your chest will be further out. Your chin will be up. Your arms will be open. Your whole body gesture will be completely different. The communication, what you communicate to your people, because it's the authentic you. It's you. It's the authentic you. And you can take this question. I mean, it's not just the why. Take the what you expect out of it. What do you expect out of this business? And you know what? It's not just, again, I don't want to break it down only to the money, the income. Yes, we know that is important. It's right up there next to breathing air, right? But it is also important to ask yourself, what do I expect from myself? Like, what do I want this business to do? Like personal development. What do I expect from myself to make this happen? To make this successful? Yes, I will have my team. I will have my sponsor. I have a great company. I have a great system, whatever it is. But what is it that I will contribute? What am I ready to do and to contribute to this? And then a third question is, when do I want to reach this? When do I want? So the when is certainly for us also another, especially as the sponsor, when you understand at what point your new business partner wants to reach a certain level or a certain income goal or a certain, you know, rank, whatever it is that will determine, that is actually giving us the chance to say, okay, is that a realistic goal? Is that a realistic time frame? And it gives us a guidance. It gives us a guidance what to do with this person, really. But what it does for me personally, by knowing my why, by knowing my what and by knowing my when, it makes it so clear in my mind that this is actually my story. So when someone asks me why I joined or why I think it is a good idea for someone else to join me, is I can say, let me share with you what I saw. And I would mention 1 to 2 facts what I love mostly about the company. I would mention 1 to 2 facts what mostly impressed me about the products. I would mention 1 to 2 facts what I love mostly about the system, about my team, my support. But in particular, I would share in a very short way why I decided to do this, in what situation I am, and why I think that this is the perfect solution for me, that this business is the vehicle to get me to my solution. Because that's what we do. We offer solutions, either in a product or in a business. So, and that now is duplicatable because you're authentic, it's you, your story is always unique, always. And you don't need to worry because it's you. And that is basically why I really believe if you take the time at the beginning and you sit down and answer this thoroughly, deep, question a little bit your emotional part of it, that will motivate these 3 questions, and the answers to it will give you your story. And that's all you need to share. And that's from my side. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Let me just cover a few things that you said there that I think are so important. I went out to these little meetings that I've been doing, as you all know, in Jordan, to different culture, in places where people are earning $200 a month or less. And I start off with exactly what Dino has said. What is your why? And he said several important things I want you to take note of. He said basically that you need to know what your why is. You need to know how it would feel if you achieved that goal. In other words, if your why is, it would be great to have a big house, how it would feel to have a bigger house, or how it would feel to put your children to better education, how it would feel to be out of the poverty trap, which most people are. They're spending, in Western society, as I tell people here and everywhere, they're earning $10,000 a month and they spend $10,000 a year and they spend $12,000 a year. If they're earning $1,000 a month, they spend $1,200 a month. If they're earning $2,000 a month, they spend $2,400. We're always living on credit cards. So how would it feel not to be in that situation? I think that's a very important point. He's also mentioned 2 very important words here: vehicle and solution. And I think they are critical words that you should write down. Jeunesse Global is a proven vehicle that can take you where you want to go. No question about it. It's like a car. You need to know where you're going. It's like me giving you keys to a Ferrari. It's all very well that you've got the keys, but most people don't know how to drive it. They don't know where they're going. You don't just sit there and say, oh, I've got Ferrari. Let's go to France today and get the car, brum, brum, and just drive. You've got to have a map. You've got to know where you're going. You've got to know why you're going there. And solution. He's absolutely right. This is a solutions-orientated project, a business. We're offering people 2 different solutions: health and wellness, look good, feel great, and we're offering them a solution to reach their goals, their financial goals. I tell people in the meetings I go to, money isn't everything. That's what they say in this society, especially Islamic society teaches you that there is a better life afterwards. But I tell them this: you're here for a reason. Money might not be everything right now, but let me tell you something. When you haven't got any, it's everything. Absolutely. And Dino will tell you that, and so will everyone on this call. And I told people today with great passion, I saw a little starving child on a street of Zarqet here. I haven't forgotten her face. That was last week. And I said to myself, when people bitch and moan about my situation and this, that, the other, I said to everyone in the meeting, why don't you do it for these kids? Why don't you spend a bit of energy and time to drive this vehicle? If you've got plenty yourself, you're blessed, I'm happy for you. Why don't you do it for other people? So solution and vehicle is very, very important. My next guest is sitting next to Dino, Ruby director in our business, as you know. And I think really she's a Ruby in the making. She's a Sapphire at the moment, but I'm so confident she's going to bypass elite and go straight onto the Ruby trail. Glamorous, gorgeous, fabulous woman who I've seen grow, absolutely physically grow on these calls over the last 2 years. She's never been involved in this kind of industry before. She's never really talked to large audiences, I believe. She's talked to small groups, but not large international audiences like we have on this call. She is one of the top trainers in GPG. And certainly when it comes to social media and many other things, there isn't a better person than Andriani. Today, she's going to talk to you about an important element of what we do in this business and an important element that holds our teams together and fires and inspires people. It's called events. The fantastic Andriani calling in from Nicosia in Cyprus.
Good evening, Malcolm. Okay, it's a bit awkward to speak after Dino, especially when Dino is here for 2 full days. And actually today my topic was inspired from Dino. And I will explain why. We hear a lot of time we build from event to event. Attend events. Bring your people and yourself to events. What is an event? Actually, event is an action which takes place a specific time, date, with a specific theme somewhere. Events can be small or can be big, can be offline, can be online. So the term event and attend to event, it's really big. It's huge actually. And I would like today to break it a little bit down. Events, offline events. I'm in the marketing industry and advertising for now 18 years. Last 15 with my own office. I don't know how many events and press releases and fashion shows and everything I've organized. So have you ever realized what an event needs to actually do behind the scenes? Someone that organizes an event to find the theme, the speakers, the location, who is going to build the stage, the pop-ups, lighting, accommodation. I can talk all day about what an event needs to be organized. Do you realize how much money someone needs to spend to organize a big event? A big or small event? You need money. So we are so blessed and lucky that our company provides us with all these events, either locally or internationally. There are so many events around us that are organized through our company. If you go to your calendar on your back office, dates are full. Maybe in your country, in country next to you, or the big events. We just had the lead event in Brazil. It was huge, huge. And who are speaking Portuguese or Spanish, they should go online and watch it. This is another topic I will come later on. So if we realize what an event needs to be organized and what we have, then we have no excuse to go, to invest in our business, to invest in ourselves and attend to these events. We have Berlin coming soon in 1.5 months. So a lot of people will say, I don't have the money. Well, work for it. Work for it and make a goal and say, I will work these 2, 3, 4 months and I will go to Berlin. And afterwards, I will work and I will go to Rome. So make these goals to attend the events. What you have to benefit from the big events? Experience, knowledge, enthusiasm. Meet the people you see online. Meet the group. Meet like-minded people. But most important, you never know what you will hear from a speaker that you may not know and will make this click on your head. You never know what word you will hear and you will say, I'm on it, I'm ready, I'm waking up, I will go back and I will start working. You never know. And this click doesn't happen only in the big events. An event, as I said before, can be from 3 people to 1,000 people. You never know. Last 2 days in Cyprus, we had, for me, a big event in the small Cyprus. Why? Dino invested to his team, as you did, Malcolm, and came through Chicago to Cyprus, and tomorrow he's going to Thessaloniki in Greece. Why? To put down an event with our help. Of course, Rolando's put everything with Dino together. For us to understand, to see the system, to meet all the new people in the team again, to bring new people to the opportunity meeting, to give us the essential to work. You know how many clicks I had these 2 days? Not only me. I think each one of us had clicks on their minds. It was an event. It was not organized by the company. It was organized by the team. So we needed to spend some money. Of course, we invested again to organize this. Now, there are also the online events, like the one we have right now. From our home, we all meet online and we share knowledge. Again, you never know when this click will be in your mind. Something that you're gonna say, Malcolm, something that Dino said, something that Sandy will say, or Oliver. We get inspired, or me, we get inspired every day from everything around us. So create events, attend to events. Create virtual coffee with your friends. We say we don't have time, we have the kids, we run all the day. We cannot go for a coffee with our friends and talk about our opportunity. Make a virtual coffee and meet all of you from your house after the kids will go to sleep and chit-chat together. You never know what's going to happen. Have your reserve, have your mask on. This is an event. This is called event. So create events all the time. Presentations, big events, small events, attend to events, and make yourself a favor right now, all of you. Go and book your tickets for Berlin. I missed France 2.5 years ago, and I really don't feel okay with that, because I missed an event, and at the time, okay, I was not doing it business-wise, but I should go there. I didn't miss any other event, and I will never miss an event, because all my business is there. And remember, events need different invitation. You need to know how to invite the other person to attend to event. Rolando's had this training in some of your calls, Malcolm, in the past. You need to invite people in a different way to realize what they have to gain, what their benefits are. And of course, we all have fun. We travel. So that was for me today, Malcolm. Thank you very much. And we apologize that we have to go.
Absolutely fine. I really appreciate you coming online, as you always do. Thank you very much for yourself and for Dino as well. I want to pick up with the threads that you've said. I know that you're all very busy. You've just had an event and you're about to do the meeting after the meeting. So I'm going to pick up on a couple of things, if I can, to fill in the gaps that really I want you to write down, everybody. Andriani is absolutely right. You know, when we first start off, we're on our own, and then we get to know our sponsor, then we get to know a few people, and we start building up some belief. So I want you to write down these key words as to what events are. And I'm really glad Andriani mentioned this. An event can be just 3 people, as she rightly said, which is a small group of individuals getting together, sharing ideas and information, building up to weekly team events, which are like groups of 10, 20, 30, going up to tens of thousands. I've got to share with you that for 5 years, I ran, get all this money, you know, like I said, spend all this money getting my teeth done. Now my mouth won't work, but I ran an event organization company. If you go on my LinkedIn, you'll see I ran 2 companies that were to do with event organization. And Brianna's right. It costs an enormous amount of money. This event that I do on Sundays, which is our team call, sometimes like today, I was out in the mountains, I come back, I was talking to Sandy and the guys running around to organize it, to make sure that all of you get value. I want you to write these key points down about events, and I want you to think about them. I think they're very, very important. Number one, events actually help you to get excitement in your new prospect and in yourself. You get excited because you start seeing lots of people and the speakers are motivational. You can write down inspired. You feel inspired at events. You'll meet great, great speakers. Some people like that fiery type of speaker, and you've like some people who just like the quiet speaker, but they can say things that really inside fire you up and inspire you. I think events are all about energy as well. They give you great energy. You go there on a Monday on a Friday, I guarantee you that you're floating on air by the time you get back on the Monday. They give you realization. They give you an understanding of what this is all about. This is not just about serum or about ages. It's a lot more than that. And that wonderful feeling amongst 5,000, 10,000 in Rio, by the way, had 18,000 people this weekend. Is something that you can't buy, something you can't get on a videotape or you put across on something like a call such as this. It gives you the most important thing as well, knowledge. You find out from people who have built this business, people making tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars per week. Many of us can change lives teaching people to make just $200 per week. So you can learn from the best, follow what they teach you and apply it because they've walked the walk and they've proved that it works. You get tips, great little tips that save you time. Tips are important to us because people work hard in this business. Sometimes they don't work very smart. You get tools. Lots of times there are books and tapes and stuff that you can pick up as tools for your business as well. You get contacts. I think one of the greatest things that you can get at an event is to make new contacts. Working with like-minded people from different teams. We're all in the same mission. We're all going the same way. We all want the same things. And you'll find people that you're attracted to, that you make friends with on a long-term basis. But you know, most of all, there's 2 things you get out of events. You get belief that this is real. And most importantly, you can grit your teeth and you get commitment to do what it takes to grow this business. My next guest, before I talk to you about my next guest, can I just say, I'd like to say that, you know, it's very unfortunate today. We've not been able to have 3 fabulous ladies online. They really struggle to come on this call. They're Bridget, I'll just give you the quick names if I can. Bridget Katango, and we also had here Ninji, I think it was, yes, Ninji, Katango, and Bridget. Let me just quickly tell you about them. Bridget's just about there. They tried so hard to get on this call from South Africa, from Zambia. Ninji is 73 years old. And we were all absolutely waiting for her. She was there, but she wrote a minute ago. She said, Malcolm, my internet's dying. I can't speak at the moment because I've just been cut off. I wanted you to hear from her, 73 years old and a Sapphire. Bridget, who's online right now but can't connect, is a very, very successful sugarcane farmer, extremely successful in what she does living near Durban. And Katango, who's another lady as well. These 3 will be on my call next week because I never give up. I don't understand the word no, and I want you to hear their story. But my next guest, someone I'm very, very fond of, I think is one of the greatest trainers that we've got in this business. Someone who really has walked this walk and someone who I look up to. I met her for the first time 2 years ago in a little event that we had in Orlando. We met up together afterwards. A fabulous woman, someone who really, really knows this business inside out. One of the very few individuals in over 30 years of home-based business have I met who can have a customer base of 1,000 customers. I mean, I can see people struggling getting 1,000 customers, and she services them today. She's going to share with you, I think, very, very important knowledge. And really, Sandy Chambers from Canada, who's a Sapphire Elite, is going to share with you asking the right questions. I would take a lot of notes when this lady speaks. Sandy Chambers calling from Canada.
Well, thank you so much, Malcolm. That really, you can't get over that, all those customers. Anyway, that was more of a direct selling business in those days, and that's what we were kind of looking for. But I do want to thank you for having me on the call. You always do such an amazing job of this call, so it's an honor to be here. Why I picked this topic was, you know, quite often when people get nervous and they want to talk about or do a presentation in the business, they sometimes talk too much or they do all the talking. And I thought it's important to talk to you about having a conversation rather than a lecture with the person that you want to bring into the business. The number one reason, in my estimation, that a person joins you is because they want to work with you. They want to get a feel for how you do business. Can you lead them to success? These are the questions that they probably don't tell you, but they are thinking it. And one of the best reasons for asking a lot of questions is to build rapport. You want to make that person feel like they are the most important person in the world right now in front of you. You want to get to know them. So you want to be diplomatic in your questions. Like if you're single, the first question out of your mouth shouldn't be, "Are you single?" Because they're going to think you're got ulterior motives. So you want to do it with diplomacy and grace, but you also want them to know that you're very interested in them and that you care about them and care about their future. The second reason for asking a lot of questions, and the other thing, getting back to that too, is you want to see if you've got something in common. The more you can relate with a person, the more chances they're going to want to work with you. The other reason is the more you get them included in the conversation, the more talking they do. I have found it by personal experience that they're more likely to join you in the end if they're involved. They have some personal involvement with this. But I have seen people, and I'm one of them, I'll never forget the worst interview I ever did. I kept talking, hoping that something I said was going to be of interest to them. What it did do is it bored them out of their mind, and I was not able to close them. So basically, you want to learn how to ask all the right questions. This is as old as the hills in network marketing. It comes from way back when, but it's form. Ask questions about their family, occupation, recreation.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Pardon me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Malcolm?
Andy, can you hear me?
Okay. I can't hear you, Malcolm, but I hope you can hear me.
Please, and just check.
You are frozen, Malcolm. Or am I frozen?
Call, please, and see if you can hear.
Can you hear me?
Andy.
Yeah.
Something if I can on another machine.
Are we good? Where's the chat? Oops. Okay. Cancel. Can you hear me? Oh, you're gone.
We can hear you clearly.
Barely. Okay.
Clearly, Sandy, you can go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So where was I now? Oh, about the form. Asking questions about family. One of the easy questions is, do you have children, or are you, tell me a little bit about your family. How old are they? Are they going to, and you get to know. They're going to tell you their why that Dino was talking about in his first talk. Was you're going to hear them say, well, my kids are getting ready to go to college, and we want to send them to all the right schools. This may be a good why for them. You might ask about their occupation. What do you do for a living? Use their names, particularly, not every sentence, but particularly at the beginning and at the end of your presentation. George, let me ask you a few questions about yourself. I'd like to know you better. And ask about their occupation, their recreation. What do they like to do? In Canada, we live in the cold climate most of the year. And one of the typical questions we ask are you getting away this winter? Because a lot of people do have a winter holiday. If they say, no, we're going to go every other year, then you know that maybe that could be an option for why they would like to do this business, have enough money to go on trips every single year. Do you like to travel? You know, what do you like to do in your free time is an easy question to ask people. And then that will tell you whether they can use, when they can use more money or not. In your verbiage, one thing you want to be very sure of saying is, do not say what do you need, but find out what their hopes, their dreams, and their wants are. Nobody wants to know about, nobody wants to know what you need, or they don't want to think that they're in need of something. So make sure you never use that word. But asking them, like Dino said in his little talk, is, what do you hope to gain from this business? If you were to do the business today, what do you hope to gain from it? And listen to what they're saying. This can guide you into how to do the presentation. Because I've heard people talk about, how you can make $500 a month. But if you're talking to people, that's nothing. They want to know about the tens of thousands of dollars a month. You want to be on their level. And the vice versa is true. If you're talking to people about a lot of money, whereas $500 is their idea of big money, that'll blow them out of the water. They just won't believe it's credible. So you want to ask the questions to be on the same page as them. Another one, during the talk, you're going to be talking about this is a global business. Find out before you go into great depths about the business. You could say to them, do you know people outside the country that you're living in? Because we have a global business and it's in 143 countries. You want to focus your talk on their interests. And by asking the right questions, do you like to travel? Because this business could take you anywhere in the world you want to go. But why talk about it if that isn't of interest to them? Another question that you could be asking during that time is, which products, interest you the most from what you've heard so far today? I try to ask questions that are not yes or no answers so that I get them talking to me, telling me what is of interest to them. I know some people go on and on and on because they're more comfortable talking about products in the business. But if they're talking to somebody that wants to know how to make money, they're not as interested. They'll want to know a little bit about the products, yes, but they're not as interested in the in-depth talk about it. They'd rather hear how they're going to make money. So by asking the questions, what interests you the most so far? From a business, doing the business, or making money in the business, or the products. If they're not the least bit interested in doing a business, then you'd focus your talk more on the products of their choice. So these are some of the questions that you want to talk about. And if you ask them about traveling, do you like to travel? Then you can get into the rewards trips that our company offers. I mean, I've been in the industry for close to 40 years, and I have never seen a company take 8,100 people plus on a trip to the Mediterranean cruise. I mean, that's usually for the top 10, not 8,000 people. So, if they're not interested in traveling, though, you wouldn't go in and say, well, you must travel with us if that's not something that they choose to do. So by asking these questions, you can really focus on what's good for them. One presentation, let me say this, is not good for everybody. You have to tailor it for each individual that you're speaking with. And if you ask all the right questions and you're going through and they're giving you positive responses, they'll likely give you one at the end. And I know some people, they talk and talk and they're afraid to close the conversation, find out where they're sitting. They're so afraid to ask because if they ask, they might get a no answer and they don't know where to go from there. One close that I heard that I thought was really good, and I always learn from the best. Who's making the most amount of money in my area? Well, Teresa Gregory is one of them. So, in talking to her one day, I said, well, how do you close people? And she said it's very simple. And I think most people would be comfortable with this. If you could rank yourself from 1 to 10, 1 meaning that you have absolutely zero interest in what I'm telling you, and 10, you're so excited, you're ready to get started today, where would you rank yourself? And if it's a 7, I mean, we all hope it's going to be a 10. And if it is, that's when you say no more and say, well, let's get started. Let's get some information down and get you started with a business. But if it's a 7 or 8 or anything in between, say, you know, I always say it's great, whatever they say. What information do you need, George, to take you to the 10? And that way you're not trying to fish around and ask, you know, figure out what didn't you tell them? What, you know, be just very blunt and ask them, because I think they would respect your honesty and your credibility and just answer you. So they may say, I want to know more information about such and such a product. I may want to know more information about whatever, but at least you've got somewhere to go. Another way of closing people that I used to use a lot was saying to them, you know, when you're looking over the packages, you're telling them how people get started. You could say, if you were to start today, which package would you start with, George? And that's the time that you don't butt in. You could say small, medium, and large, or small, Pearl package or ambassador package. I like that wording because a lot of people want to think that they're ambassadors. And most people give them no more than choice of 3, because any more than that confuses them. But if they say, I want to, you know, they'll probably go middle of the road. That's why the 3 packages were invented at the different levels. But they may just want to go because of the sound of the packages as well. I know I always pick the top package going because that's where I see myself. So they may as well. So anyway, choice of 3, and then you stop when they say, I would start with this package, say, well, is there any reason why we can't get started today? And that way you've got your close, and that's about it. Malcolm, are you still there?
I certainly
I see you on the little teeny screen.
Well, let me share with you, first of all, Sandy, that's always fabulous information that you share with everybody. And I've got to tell you what's been happening at my end, because for some reason, I've got some kind of voodoo going on with my laptop. So I came off and on, and then I could hear you sort of just about speaking, and then off again. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, I've got to listen to what you're saying. So on the recording, Mohammed's been wonderful because he's on the other machine. And I said, my God, I can't hear it. What's going on? He said, oh, I can hear it clearly. I said, well, you carry on and I'll fix this without trying to kill the call, you know. So I think it's very important what you've said, Sandy. And I think several things come from this call. First of all, you've got to be calm under stress and duress, which is what I'm getting really used to right now. And, you know, the girls from South Africa couldn't make it, whatever. But, you know, the information you're giving is priceless, because I tell you what happens. I'm sure you'll agree. People are so fired up about what they've seen in the opportunity. They've got their own why. They love what they've seen. They expect the other person to feel exactly the same. And they just completely bombard them with information about how great the product is, who's Dr. Giampapa, who is this, and they don't do what you've just said. And I think that section you've given us is absolutely priceless. And I think everybody on this call, and certainly recording this call, should listen to that, because I think it tells people that you need to be able to talk to the person and have a conversation. I love that, because you said normally you're overpowering, you're trying to sell to them, they feel, and you've not asked them what they think about it. And I love the close that you've mentioned. And we're going to certainly, what I want you to do is I'm going to do live recordings of us doing that close. And I'm going to share with you what I do, and I'm going to use what you do as well. One thing that I do, Sandy, is I turn around at the end of a presentation and I ask 3 or 4 questions. They're very old questions we've always asked. The first thing I say to people is, which part of the presentation did you like best? First thing I ask them, or the demonstration. So they might say, I love the demonstration, or I like the Giampapa movie, or the Dr. Nathan movie, whichever. Then the next question I ask them is, can you see yourself using these great products? And can you see a market for them? That's the next question I ask them. Then I ask them after that, you know, how many hours would you be willing to put into this if we can earn the kind of money you're looking for? Because they've told me earlier, I'm looking to earn 500 a month or 1,000 a month or whatever. So I asked them the time commitment. And I love what you've said. And I'm going to put that into my training this weekend. We're doing a big training before I go to London. I love that. I want to put it in Arabic. I'd love to be able to look at the person, because normally what I do there, Sandy, is I turn around at the end of it and say, great, putting your questions aside at the moment, do you see an opportunity of working with us and getting started? That's what I asked them. I think that's quite a hard close. It's worked extremely well, by the way. I love what you've said. I'm going to use that, which is on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you see yourself at this moment as far as getting started is concerned? 10 being that you're ready to get started right now. 1, absolutely not. I like that. So I'm going to look at the video again, and I'm going to come back to you and tell you how well that's worked, because I think that's a very, very good way. And I love what you've said there, Sandy. What information, further information do I have to give you to get you to a 10? I think that's wonderful. Sandy, it's wonderful having you on the call. If you were here watching the other video of me frantically going, oh my God.
Well, I didn't know whether I couldn't hear you or you couldn't hear me.
I called, and I could thankfully hear you on the other machine. I thought, she's talking now. Let me refresh without killing the call. So it's been wonderful having you as a guest. Thank you so much, Sandy. You always give great, great value on the Sunday call. My next guest is someone who is very unique. I think he's one of the very few individuals I've met in my lifetime who at his age group can do what he does. I call myself the fire starter, and I've been called that prior to joining this business by a lot of people that I work with, but he certainly is of the same ilk. He really is, cut from the same cloth, as they say, where they come from. He's a young man who has hit the level of Ruby, really responsible for opening up South Africa in GPG, single-handedly, may I say. Gone out there, found people. He's relentless in his pursuit of personal empowerment, development, relentless in his pursuit of helping people to develop, to be more, grow internally and personally, and more importantly, relentless in introducing people to this business. He was responsible for bringing Mapo Dindi on board, who then opened up Zambia and other places. Was it not for this young gentleman, we wouldn't have the tremendous, tremendous momentum that we've now got in South Africa. It's my pleasure and my privilege, and I certainly hope he's there, to introduce you all to Oliver Grimley, Ruby Director, calling in from South Africa. Oliver, are you there? After all that. I certainly can, Oliver. Great to hear from you.
Okay, cool. I'm going to turn my video on, but if the audio gets bad, just let me know, and then I'll turn the video off.
You're good. You're good, Oliver. Great to have you online.
Awesome, guys. Thanks so much for having me, and awesome contribution there, Bridget, Sandy. Very cool. I've been making notes here. So yeah, no, it's really great to be back on this call on Sunday. I love listening to these calls, and I'm going to talk a little bit just about mindset and getting inspired. I just got back from an amazing trip overseas, and a lot of people, it blows my mind. They will spend a lot of money, or they'll spend money to get involved with the company, and they'll join, but then they won't spend $10 on a book to learn about the industry. And it just blows my mind. They don't realize that the best investment you can make is in yourself, hands down. So if you're not investing in yourself, you really are putting yourself at a disadvantage. And if you want to be the person that has the advantage, you've got to be putting in the time every single day and blocking out time in your day to work on yourself. And I do that religiously. Most people in the morning, when they wake up, the first thing they do is they check their WhatsApp, and they immediately are just plugged into their so-called outer world in a reactive state of being. They don't take any time to actually create their day. I take at least 2 hours in the mornings, preferably waking up between 4:30 and 5, to spend 1 to 2 hours, maybe even 3 to 4 hours, depending on the day, to get myself, my mind, my body, and my spirit right before I go and I attack the day. I've got to be in the right state of being before I can go out into the battlefield, so to speak. And really, business is just civilized form of war in my mind. That's the way I look at it. So, I really focus on a clear vision for my day. I see the day going well in my mind's eye. I see people coming up with objections, but I see myself remaining emotionally neutral to what they're saying, and just like water off a duck's back, not letting it affect me. And I just continue on, and I just keep going. Like Paula taught me, Paula said that, You know, there's a law out there called the law of averages. And if you understand that if you just speak to enough people and you just keep showing the business opportunity time after time after time after time, you will have success. The only way you fail is if you quit. And that's probably the best advice I think you could ever get in this industry is, you know, the only way you fail is if you quit. And I read a statistic the other day that blew my mind. And that was that 90% of people that stay in a network marketing company for 10 years end up becoming millionaires. And I thought that's ridiculous. What is statistics? So if you just stick with a good company, and let's be honest, Jeunesse is not only good, it's probably the best company that's ever been in this industry. You know, if you stick with this for 10 years consistently, you have a 90% chance of being financially free. How incredible is that? I mean, it's mind-blowing. But the reality is most people want instant gratification. They want get rich quick. They want money now, and they're not willing to pay the price. And that's just not how it works. So, you know, if you're willing to stay consistent with this and with the vehicle we have and how good the compensation plan is, really you should see the same results that most people would see in 10 years in 2 to 5 years. You know, that's just the reality because of how lucrative our compensation plan is. I already know for sure that, you know, I've been making more money per month than people I know in other network marketing companies that have been in them for 5, 10, even more years. So, you know, Jeunesse is an unbelievable vehicle. And if you just stay consistent with it and bring in 1 to 5 people a month, every month, consistently for say 24 months, you know, to 5 years, you're definitely going to make it. You will. You just got to keep getting better, keep investing in yourself. And, you know, that's why I just traveled to Croatia. I just spent probably, you know, a few $1,000s just on one seminar to learn from one of the world's best in the field of, you know, manifesting and using your mind, which was Joe Dispenza. You know, if you haven't YouTube Joe Dispenza, he's got a lot of free stuff on YouTube. He's phenomenal at really getting yourself into the right state of mind. And you know, I'm not going to get too much into the details, but he's huge into his meditation and spending time with yourself and getting very clear on a vision for the future and not living you know, controlled or a victim, so to speak, of the emotions from your past. So it's very, very powerful stuff. And then after that, I went to the Masters event or the Sage Business School in London, and I emceed the event, and I was working with Peter, and I was just, you know, you are your peer group. That was one thing that it just reminded me is if you surround yourself with positive, like-minded individuals, it's going to rub off on you. But if you hang around with negative, pessimistic people that gossip and talk about other people negatively, you're going to become one of them. You can't help it. That's just the energy affects your energy. That's the nature of being around those people. Don't think that for a second you're immune to it. You have to just cut those people out of your life and just only make sure you're spending time with people that empower you, enrich you. You know, cut out the media, guys. I promise you, I don't remember the last time I watched the news. I don't know what's going on in the general economy, but I have every idea of what's going on in my economy, you know, and that's all that matters, because an entrepreneur has his own economy within the macro. There's your economy, the micro economy within the macro economy, and all of that stuff doesn't even apply to your business anyway. Most of it's negative. In fact, over 90% of it's probably negative, and it's just going to depress you, and it's not going to help you. So don't plug into the news in the mornings like most people do and look at, you know, who got, you know, let's be honest, you know, who got killed here, the weather, the tornadoes. I mean, it's so negative. Imagine starting your day instead listening to some inspiring music, you know, reading your vision for your future, connecting with your why for this business, you know, closing your eyes and seeing yourself as a ruby or an emerald or a diamond on stage, getting your pin and getting engaged in that emotion and feeling that future as if it were happening in the present moment, you know. And they've done science. Science has now showed that, I mean, people did basketball, and a group was shooting the hoops and the other group was literally just visualizing shooting hoops. They weren't even shooting them. And they came back after a month of testing or so, and they actually did a test, and the group that visualized got the same score as the group that literally practiced every day. So what does that mean? That means that your mind doesn't know the difference between an imagined event and the actual event. Even the neurological circuitry in the brain was wiring in the exact same way, in the same sequences, as if they were really shooting those baskets. So your body does not know the difference between an imagined vision of the future and the actual event occurring. So if you understand that and you understand how that works, you can start to see yourself in situations behaving and acting in a way that a diamond would act. And, you know, Paula always said it too. She said, you know, when she changed and she moved forward for the better, she saw herself as a diamond. She walked, spoke, talked, acted, had posture as if she was already there. And that's when people start to follow you. You know, they're attracted to that energy. And, you know, just lastly, an exercise we did in London that just blew my mind was we had a sheet of paper, and I made a video on this on my Facebook if you want to go watch it, but you write out all the circles that represent your life. So the average person only lives 80 years. I put 120 on there because I'm quite optimistic. You can put as many as you want. And I just started filling out the circles, right? And for me, 30 out of 120 circles, when you start to see it in a ratio on a page, you realize, oh, damn, like, this page is starting to fill up pretty quickly, and you really get a sense for how quick life goes. And the thing is, once one of those circles is filled in, you can't fill it in again. It's done. It's gone. It's finished. There's no going back. So if you have this piece of paper in front of you every day, and every single day, you could even break it down into days, into months, into weeks. So you could have a page for the years of your life, a page for the months of your life, a page for the days of your life. And you'll be amazed. You don't have that many days in your whole life. I think it's like whatever, 1,000 days. And every day, remember that you fill that in at the end of the day. You have to ask yourself the question, did I give this day everything that I could give this day? You know, you want to go to bed exhausted in a good way, that you know that you gave this day everything you could, not I wasted it. So it's a very powerful exercise, and literally there were a lot of people just filling it out, like realizing, or it created a huge sense of urgency and helped them to realize they really need to go for their dreams, because success is not waiting for you. That rank that you want, it's not coming to you. It's not knocking on your door. You got to go out and you got to go get it. No one is bringing it to you, not your upline, not your friends, not your family, no one. You are the only person between you and your goals and your dreams. You have to wake up and you say, I'm going to do this. You know, you deserve it. I'm good enough. And that's it. You have to be your biggest fan. So I hope what I've shared today has really inspired some of you guys. We're going to do a lot of calls, hopefully, in the future, Malcolm. Thanks so much for letting me contribute.
Yeah, I think it's just something else, Oliver. I mean, so that I share with everybody. I've been in the marketplace a long time, and you talk about circles. I'm frightened to draw my circles out because I have a few more than you have. I can tell you that. I think it's amazing, isn't it? The maturity of Oliver and some of the things that he's talking about, and it shows you what investing in yourself is all about. Oliver is a classic example of someone who understands profoundly what investing in yourself actually means. He's just told you he's used the money, he's traveled all the way to Croatia to listen to a speaker so that he can get information to reprogram his mind. You know, one of the other things he mentioned on here was tell, lie, vision. I'll write that down somewhere. Television. Tell, lie, vision. That's exactly what it is. Because if you watch TV, most people do, it just burns up time. I see people sitting there playing stupid little games on their little Nintendos or whatever. And Oliver's right. You know, once you spend any second of a day, 86,400 we have a day, it's gone for an eternity. Tonight's call has been a little bit challenging. I expected it to be. I've been out all day, but I can finish my call off on this Sunday by talking to you about a couple of things that have been brought up on this call. You've heard from Dino about the why. You know, the reason most people quit, they don't have the right why. They haven't thought about the fact there is no question, none, that this business works. It's worked for hundreds of thousands of people. Why shouldn't it work for you? We've been around for 8 years. We've gone from 5 million to 1.4, 1.6 or whatever it was, 1,000 million. No question it works. The products work. We've seen examples of that in Jordan now, where people's faces are transforming, phenomenal products. That why has got to be the most important thing. And Sandy brought it in so perfectly, didn't she? Because Sandy said, we've got to question people. We've got to ask them what their why is. We've got to have conversations with them, not do all the talking, but actually listen to what they've got to say. We had Dino talking about the why. We had Andriani talking about events. And I think today's call was extraordinary in many respects, because a lot of people like Katonga and Bridget, and I'm so sorry they couldn't come on, because these are really inspirational people. They live in a country like South Africa or Zambia, where every reason you can think of not doing this business exists. Their credit cards don't work. They've all got to pay in cash. They've got to run around. The product costs like a week's wages for one of the serums. But they're going out there and they're building an extraordinary business. If it is to be, it is up to me. It's been my pleasure hosting this call today. It's been a difficult call. I'm quite sure by the time I get back home, I'm planning to get back home next week on Sunday. And if I am traveling on the Sunday, I've just got to check my diary. I think I am. On that day, I'm going to ask Dan to help us to host that call. I hope you've got great value out of this call. I want to finish on this last note. Isn't it strange? The people that need to listen to this call the most, the ones that really are struggling with this business, the ones that are not doing what it takes to become what they should become with this wonderful business, are seldom on this call. They have excusatitis telling them where they can't be here. I've been out since 7:30 this morning, been on the mountaintops, traveled a long, long way, non-stop helping and training people, and here I am, making sure that even with my busted laptop, I managed to be here, and that's what it's about. I showed up, and I hope you do too in your dream and your lifestyle as well. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the call. Looking forward to seeing you all next week. I doubt I'll be doing it because I think I'm traveling. If I'm not wrong, I'm traveling on Sunday. And if I am traveling on Sunday, Dan Parks, my very good friend, we're running that call, but I'll make sure I'm here with you guys the week after that. Malcolm Peters saying goodbye from Amman in Jordan. Looking forward to seeing you on my next call. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Malcolm.
Go find a way of switching this off now.